Happy Crypto Tuesday. Mr. Crypto Dave, how are you, mate? Are you well?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself, Paul?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Let's just leave it at that. I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Seasons are changing a bit, and that kind of messes with our emotions a bit these days, right?
Well, the thing is, in the Philippines, mate, there's no such thing as seasons. It's either hot, hotter, or hottest. That's it.
But
And
that's yours, right?
yeah, and there may be a little bit of rain. It's not like the UK where you can wake up one minute and go, "Oh, it's hot," and then the next day, actually, sometimes you can get 4 seasons in one day. But in the UK, there's very clear, as I'm sure there is in the US and obviously in Japan, that there's clear different types of seasons. And without going too much into it, that's one of the things that I do miss about the UK is for some reason I love the cold, right? It makes me feel alive, and I've got some great memories of playing football and rugby and golf in cold weather where people go, "Paul, why are you playing?" But yeah, we're not here to talk about my childhood. It's a very messed up
It's all about life. This is crypto about life.
Exactly. Crypto. So, Crypto Dave, you made a prediction last week in terms of what was going to happen on Wednesday regarding ETFs. So maybe if you could just give a recap on what are ETFs, what's happened now. Is there anything, given what you spoke about last week, that you feel you need to maybe correct or change from what you said?
Yeah. So first of all, apologies. Actually, I made a mistake that ETFs, the contracts, basically the buy-in to get a Bitcoin ETF is quite large. Actually, it's small. I think it's like $40 to buy in. And then again, this is without going into too much details on it, it's the futures ETF for Bitcoin. So basically, you're betting on what the future of the price would Bitcoin will be in the future, right? 30 days out, 60 days out, whatever that might be. So it's kind of a way to, in sports, right? You already have a team playing regular season. You're kind of betting what the playoffs are going to be in the future, essentially what a contract looks like. Yeah, what the future would be like against multiple teams. The beautiful thing about an ETF is it allows anybody who essentially has a brokerage at a traditional stock brokerage to get exposure or be able to buy these products, right? So rather than I have to go to Coinbase and open an account and get verification, blah, blah, blah. Now I can go to my TD Ameritrade, one of the biggest online stock brokerages in the US, and say, hey, look, you know what? I want to get a little bit of exposure into Bitcoin. I just buy this BTF off my account. Basically, it's listed on the CME, is listed on NASDAQ, is listed on a traditional market, and I can just buy kind of like a stock. So that's the beauty of it. And it allows people who don't know how to get exposure into it, like don't want to open a new account, or people who are afraid to hold the Bitcoin underlying itself, to be able to get some skin in the game through kind of a synthetic way of doing future contracts, ETF, blah, blah, without going into the weeds of it. So since the buy-in is low at $40, anybody can buy in for one contract. So this has opened up a floodgate of people to onboard the gateway drug into crypto, which is Bitcoin.
I think that's amazing. I think, because I know when we were speaking about it last week, we thought, well, we were under the impression the entry point was really going to be for large companies who are going to want, maybe want to buy thousands upon thousands of shares. But now that if the entry point is at $40, then it really does open it up for, well, the average man in the street, right?
Yeah, exactly. Average man on the street could be an older folks who don't really understand how to have their own crypto wallets, how to manage the crypto itself, but want to get exposure because the price is exploding. But as a result of that, price actually has gone up quite a bit, right? And come up, came down again. Actually hit all-time high and came down again. And the ETF products in the States is so popular that on the stock exchanges is starting to hit its limits. Limits is you can only have so many contracts to be out at a certain time with different kind of exchanges. Without going to the weeds of it, essentially you cannot get too many outstanding contracts because all the outstanding contracts you need to have some kind of underlying to back up, everything that's being out in the market that's exposed. So it's starting to hit the limit of it. So the companies who are issuing these Bitcoin ETFs are asking, like the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, one of the biggest future exchanges in the world, to say, can you raise our limit to allow us to have more exposure? So more of these ETFs are coming out in the States, being published by different companies, and it's given a lot of popularity in the US. So people are waiting for it. People are asking for it. People are actually getting into it. So there's definitely a hot demand there.
Nice one. And I guess that's quite a nice segue. The fact that, you've spoken about it, Bitcoin reached its, its all-time high of what I think it was 66,000 over the past week or so. It dropped, but it started to recover a little bit. How does that stack up against the stock to flow model that we've spoken about before on previous episodes? Is it in line with kind of your prediction, or, well, not your prediction, but the stock to flow model prediction?
Yeah, I wish I can say stock to flow market was me. You know what? Share screen. So
yeah, go for it.
The picture is always worth
1,000 words, they say, don't
they? Share screen. Okay.
You've got all the other tabs closed, right? You haven't got anything on there that we shouldn't be looking at, right?
No, not at all. Have the outs all closed off. Right. So basically, this is where we are now. We should be at 106. We're at 60, 61, 62 right now. So we're not quite there, but we're not too far away. If you think about it this way, I was looking at it. Do you know when we did the webinar?
Yes.
In August, beginning of August, I think August 5th or 6th, Bitcoin was at $39,000, right?
So just hang on, just say that again. So we're only in October. So 2 months ago, Bitcoin was more or less half the price than it is now.
Yeah, 39, and now we're at 62, and we peaked at about 66. So if you would have bought Bitcoin at that time and held it now, you would have gained your portfolio by about 33%, right?
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So what I'm saying is, now going from here to 100K, it all of a sudden doesn't seem so crazy anymore, right?
No, not when you phrase it like that, given that, like you say, we've seen a 33% increase over the past couple of months. There's all this positive news surrounding cryptocurrency and Bitcoin now in terms of what happened last week. Yeah, the jump to 1,000 doesn't seem that out of context now, mate. It's an amazing story now.
Yeah. So I think the stock to flow, based on this guy Plan B, who's been doing this for quite some time, and it's probably one of the most reliable resources in terms of what price prediction will be in the future for Bitcoin. We should see again a minimum about $120,000 and a maximum of 400 grand. And the truth is somewhere in between. And you got to think about what's happening now. So the ETFs are happening. There's more and more ETFs being approved or coming up in the US. So demand will increase. When this increases, the media will catch on. When the media catches on, they start publishing things. Bitcoin hit another all-time high. Bitcoin will start getting more exposure. People want to get into it through ETF or opening up accounts to buy off the spot market. And then one of these days, Elon Musk will come back and say, hey, look, now Bitcoin is green enough for me. I'm going to let Tesla be available via Bitcoin. And things will start to FOMO in, right? Things will start to skyrocket. And seeing what we have seen before and how explosive Bitcoin can be, this is what I feel the 120 grand to $400,000 in a year target is not unreasonable. Plus now, people who can get into it are no longer just mom and pops. Institutional guys can get in as well. There's also another news published recently that's a firefighting pension fund in the US actually bought $25 million worth of Bitcoin to hold for its pension. Right, the pension is worth about $2 billion, but $25 million into a very, very conservative institution that holds pensions for people's retirements are getting to Bitcoin. That must say something, right?
Yeah, it really does. I think I'm still in a bit of state of shock, to be honest with you, given I've forgotten it was at 39K, less than 2 months ago. And everything else that you spoke about there in terms of what happened last week, what the upcoming months look like, which you're going to talk about in a minute anyway. That 120 forecast doesn't look that unachievable, really,
Yeah,
now, does it?
yeah, it's not at all. And you have to remember, what were we back in less than a year ago in December? Yeah, in December, what were we at in terms of pricing? Let's look at what it was in 2020 December. So beginning December, we're at 19,000.
That was only December time of last year.
This was about a little over 10 months ago, 11 months ago.
Well, that's a really nice segue in terms of you've mentioned it before on previous recordings, but maybe you can delve a little bit into it now. November, December are quite good in inverted commas months for crypto. Why is that? Why historically have they been good months? And what are you most excited about in the upcoming months to get closer to that 120 mark?
Yeah, I don't know the reason why end of the year it always tends to be better. There's many kind of speculations in terms of holiday seasons are coming in, so people are more focusing on their own kind of family and well-beings and things like that. People have more downtime to actually start talking to other people regarding things. Another thing that people talk about quite a bit is actually at Christmas dinner. People are sitting down and starting to talk about family stuff, and then the whole crypto thing kind of comes up, and that's what's a kind of big swing up to it. But traditionally speaking, the end of the year has been really, really good for crypto. It's end of the year to beginning next year, essentially. So if you look at what 2019 did, 2019 probably is not a good 2020, right? 2020. We were at about 17K. All of a sudden, we jumped up to 35, right? We looked at 2018. We're at about 5K here, and then we jumped up all the way to essentially at the peak about $20,000 or so, $19,000 or so. So we have always seen this kind of, again, this is 2014. We saw kind of a peak, right, in the year. So obviously seeing a really explosive kick in the year. So I think with all the news that's bubbling up right now, with the ETF, with Elon Musk, sending the Twitter bomb anytime, with institutional analysts can get in, and then the year kind of all coupling together. I think this is a perfect storm to see something very explosive in the coming months, right? I think 100K is actually conservative, to be honest with you.
Amazing. Aya's here. Aya, how you doing?
Yes, hello. Sorry for the late join. How are you all doing?
Yeah, we're well. Crypto Dave is filling us with season's greetings, I guess. He's saying that Bitcoin is looking very positive given what happened last week, and the trends are it's looking great. Are you of a similar mindset as Crypto Dave?
Yeah, seems like things are on the up and up, and we've had some I guess announcements about like the taxing unrealized capital gains and whatnot. It's kind of been discussed, but even so, looks like Bitcoin hasn't dropped too much. So I feel like we're kind of this sort of like air is kind of what I usually see before we kind of go up again. So I don't know. I'm feeling hopeful. We have NFT NYC coming up. It's an event in New York about NFTs, and that's kind of coming up soon. And people are getting all riled up about that as well. So I think it's kind of like a good crypto season.
Now is the time to invest. No, now is the time to invest. I saw something. I forget who it was. Is it one of the Kardashians is bringing out their own NFTs? Is that right?
It wouldn't surprise me. Martha Stewart is making her own.
Yes.
Yeah,
Martha Stewart. Yeah.
And I've seen a couple others. The original Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, like not the guy that the movie is based on, Jordan.
Yeah. Jordan Belfort, right?
Yeah. He's got his own NFT coming out. Yesterday I watched Paris Hilton perform virtually live into Centraland. And she was like, her avatar is basically NFTized as well. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
It's all kicking off, man.
It's all, I mean, it's a money grab though. Let's be honest. Half of that is a money grab.
Yeah.
By a lot of
right.
the celebs. Yeah.
You're right. No, perfect. So, Crypto Dave, anything else, mate? A bit of a short and sweet one today, because obviously we spent some time last week talking about what happened. Is there anything else that you want to share with the audience out there? Anything they need to be mindful of, or is it a case of now's the time to invest?
Yeah, now is always time to invest, right? It's better off to do something than nothing, especially in the case of investing. It's always good to start earlier than later. Another thing to kind of be mindful of, we have also another ETF that's physically spot settled based. This approval in the US will happen in, I think, the second week of November. So the ETF is the kind of the flavor of the week or month, but let's see how that goes next month as well. Yeah, so I think we'll see a lot of volatility in Bitcoin next couple of days, but hopefully it's to the upside. The time is here.
The time is now. The time is here. No, Aya, what about from your side? Anything the guys need to know about? Anything you want to share?
No, and like I already mentioned that the NFT NYC thing is coming up, and I'm pretty excited about that. Actually, I will have one of my own NFTs on exhibit.
Wow.
At the event, and it will be on an auction. Get your wallets out.
Get it now. Get it while it's hot, right? Get it while it's hot. Is it a virtual event, or is it? Do people go? How does it work?
It's a real life face-to-face event. There will be a pop-up gallery, and you will see some of the NFTs in their physical forms, if they do have physical forms. Some of them do. One of mine does. So you can see the gallery, and there's also going to be an auction, sort of like the typical, I wouldn't call it quite like the Sotheby's style, because it's going to be settled in crypto, but yeah.
Do you want to give yourself a plug there? How we can find you? If this is available via auction online, how can we?
Oh yeah. So if you look up, look up the first of all the NFT.NYC event. In the event section, you'll see an auction run by Scarce City, which sounds like scarcity, but anyway, it's an auction house called Scarce City. Look for a NFT by me. I go by my Twitter name, Aya LAN, or Aya Local Area Network. So you can find it there.
I'm just looking at it now. I don't know if you know this, but all the tickets have already been sold out.
Yeah, they sold out a while ago. I think it was kind of a hot event. Snooze, you lose, but you can still take part in the auction, and they'll have live streams of a lot of this stuff as well. So,
look at that.
Oh, one last thing, Shiba Inu.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Elon has none. Well, the token.
Yeah, the token. If you would have bought $2,000 worth of Shiba Inu at the beginning of the year, it would be worth about $2.5 million now. Just to let you know, the Shiba Inu is kind of like
that's trash.
The dollar.
Yeah, I would thought that was yeah. We don't go with trash coin, man. We don't do shit coin.
Right. I mean, there's huge upside like that, but you never know which one's going to do that, and there's also huge risk.
Yeah, but I think again, it goes into what we talked about on this podcast, some time ago, is the social value of things is becoming real value, and you kind of have to evaluate fundamentals on real business versus something social, because it's starting to become very only a lot of sense, right?
I'm still surprised with that, because I always looked at the Shiba Inu token as like basically like a ripoff of Doge, and like it's not like a lot of people were into it. I mean, even like I said the other day, Elon confirmed he doesn't even own a single one, so it's not like there are a lot of super famous people plugging it. I don't know how it took off.
But I mean, they're very smart, right? The Shiba Inu group started sending famous people with available addresses a lot of Shiba Inu.
So they distributed it. It's airdrop.
Yeah, the airdrop is so basically they know you can look at the addresses of some people, like very notable people, like the founder of Ethereum, right? And then basically the Shiba Inu team just dropped them like $1 billion from Shiba Inu to Buterin, who's the founder of Ethereum, and all of a sudden the market is like, oh, Buterin actually holds and believes in Shiba Inu because you can track everything, right? So they started sending a bunch of famous people a bunch of free Shiba Inus, and all of a sudden, all these free people, quote unquote, have hold or believe in it, and then it kind of blew up that way. Again, social value.
Yeah.
2,000 to 2.5 million. I'm just in a state of shock.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This is crypto, so get used to it.
How's the liquidity on this? If you had that, would you be able to cash out?
Right now, yeah, I think liquidity is hot. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at Binance, and it's probably one of the most hottest trending ones for quite some time. So there must be some good liquidity on it. But obviously, you will cash out now with the liquidity so hot. What's the liquidity on it right now?
6 billion 24-hour volume.
There we go, $6 billion traded back and forth on the Shiba Inu, this dog coin.
That's sick.
Like last year.
This is perverse.
What's the market cap on that? What's the market cap?
Perverse.
Market cap, we're looking at 16 billion.
16 billion. Okay, so all
16 billion, but 6 billion per day volume. So a lot of it is just kind of like changing hands.
But still, 16 billion market cap. So this whole coin is worth $16 billion. How many other companies are worth $16 billion? Been around forever. And the dog coin came out, and now it's worth. Anyway, don't want to rant.
It's amazing, right? It's amazing whether we like it or not. It's amazing to see what happens in the social world.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I have good luck next week. We hope. Don't take this wrong way, but we hope you don't come back to the show, or if you do, you come back with some sponsorship deals for Crypto Day for myself.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'll buy out the show. It's called the IF show.
Let's call it the IF show. Perfect. Crypto Dave, thank you so much, mate. It's always a pleasure. Never at your audience. Get in touch. Any questions, anything you want to know about the crypto world, or whatever's happening out there, get in touch. We'll be happy to help you out. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day and have a great week. All the best.